Hey, Jimbo, you ready for this deal?
Get her done.
I like that one.
Old stories like long lost friends, rodeos and late night bends, history before our time, round pens and pasture rides, cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, friends and neighbors. Time once again for the Cowboys of the Osage podcast with your host, Jimbo Snively and Cody Garnett. Now let's sing a little bit about it. Cowboys of the Osage, riding once again. Always got some time for a friend. And here they are, the Cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cowboys of the Osage podcast, brought to you by the Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum and the Buck and Flamingo Turquoise Shop, and Shorty's Cowboy Hattery. Everything located in historic downtown Pawhuska, Oklahoma, except for Shorty's. She's in Oklahoma City in the stockyards. Hey, it's old Cody over here, and as always, I have my main man with me, Mr. Rodeo historian himself. Just pretty much one of the best all-around guys I know, Jimbo Snively. Morning, Jimbo. What are we doing here today?
Hey, Cody boy. It's a great day in Osage, man. And, you know, Cody, we've had a pretty hectic last 6 weeks in the rodeo world. We had the steer. You and I both went to the steer open finals up at Mulvane.
We did.
And then we both went to Vegas. You stayed for almost the whole thing. I was just out there a couple of days. And then, dang, if you didn't even go to the breakaway national finals. So you made the trifecta.
Went to every championship event they had. And on a side note, Ben Johnson days, I didn't go out to Amarillo to the Ranch Rodeo finals, but Ben Johnson days, the Ranch Rodeo we put on right here in Pawhuska, it won Rodeo of the Year for that. And the team that qualified here ended up being the world champions out there. So
what you're saying, Osage County is the center of the universe again.
Pretty much.
For rodeo.
Pretty much. I mean, we went to
and
all
we
those,
don't forget, we got the Prairie Circuit finals coming up at the end of the month here in Pawhuska.
right here in Pawhuska. Yeah. January 30th and 31st, right here in Pawhuska, Osage County Fairgrounds, Clarence Brantley Memorial Arena,
Beautiful
indoor
venue.
arena. So
Great
no matter
place.
how cold it is,
Yeah.
the heaters work great in there.
Right.
They're having the Prairie Circuit Finals, which, if you don't know what that is, it's the very best cowboys out of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska. They call that the Prairie Circuit. It's all part of the PRCA. All the rodeos that they went to in their circuit last year put them in for qualification for this. They took the top 12 or 15 in each event. And
Right.
It's stacked. A lot of NFR qualifiers going to be
yeah.
here. And a lot of the NFR stock, the horses they were riding, the bulls, they're going to be here.
It'll be the next best thing to the NFR. If you didn't make it to the NFR, you can at least come to the Prairie Circuit Final.
It's going to be great. January 30th and 31st. And then, heck, right after that, I think in March, we have an extreme bronc riding, PRCA Extreme Bronc Week.
Wow.
And then after that, we got the Ben Johnson Memorial Steer Open, which is also PRCA approved.
And
So
Ben Johnson days and all that goes with that. Can't wait.
3 pro rodeo events right here in Pawhuska this year. So it's going to be great.
As it should be.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, we went up to Mulvane. First time I'd ever been up there to the finals. I've been up there gambling a few times, I got to admit. But I'd never been to the Steer Open finals. And it was pretty impressive. Great venue. I mean, you know, I just thought it's a great place to have the finals. And I was pretty impressed with it.
Yeah, it was a great finals, a great venue, great arena. And I tell you what, by that second night, that roping was great too, Jimbo.
Yeah, and it pays good. You know, steer ropers are finally getting paid pretty good in that finals.
Well,
Not
it's
like
pretty
Vegas,
good.
But pretty good.
About a
Could
third.
be better.
About a third of what the boys
But
in
still,
Vegas get
compared
paid.
to what my grandpa won in 1959, it's pretty good at the first one. So
I remember my dad at the Lazy Arena. He was a go round paid $3,500 in there.
Yeah.
So
but
it
I
came
am
a long
curious
ways.
when they renegotiate, you know, that contract stuff. If steer ropers don't get a pretty good raise, maybe
You know what? I wish they'd take all the finals money they get, the steer open finals, breakaway finals, every event, and then they split it up evenly, no matter where the finals are held. That's what I wish they would do.
Right.
It seems like the fair thing to do. The steer open was the very first event in rodeo. Period.
Right.
I mean, look back at the annals of rodeo.
I know.
It's saddle bronc riding and steer roping.
One of the original events, for sure.
So if it's an event, everybody should be making the same money when they make the national finals.
Right.
I wish they would.
But still, just going down the list, Scott Snedeker won $58,000. He was a high money winner up there. That's a pretty good lick in the steer open. And Riley O'Rourke won $51,000. Jess Tierney won $48,000. Jake Clay won $47,000. Thomas Smith won $46,000. Chet, right here in Pasco, won $43,000. So they got a pretty good little chunk of change up there.
You know what impressed me even more than those totals, Jimbo, is there were 7 or 8 cowboys in that top 15 that won over $100,000 for the year.
Yeah.
It was just a few years ago. That was the record for the year.
Yeah.
Rocky Patterson did it, and then his son broke his record, a few years later. Cole Patterson at over $100,000 for the year. Now we got 8 cowboys making $100,000 for the year.
So we're heading in the right direction. It may not be as fast as we want to go, but we're headed in the right direction.
It was probably, just 3 or 4 years ago when we only had one cowboy winning $100,000 in the steer roping.
Right.
5. It's been in the last 5 years. So, to me, when I saw that list of the top 15 of their final totals for the year, when there was 8 cowboys that won $100,000 plus, that really spoke volumes for the steer roping for this year to me.
Of course, we had a pulling interest in we had 3 Osage County guys up there. Riley O'Rourke, Thomas Smith, and Chet Herron. And they all roped good, all won a lot of money. And we were really pulling for Riley to win that championship, but he just fell a little bit short. Cole made a heck of a run there to cinch it there the last go-around. But it was quite a roping.
You know what? The first night, I was like, oh, Lord, because they had these big old longhorn cattle, and they kind of handled slow for the guys, and they didn't know the start quite yet, and they didn't know the cattle quite yet, what they were going to do. And I told someone after that first night, I said, wow, watch what they do on these things the second night once they know what they're up against. I said, they are going to tie the ever-living heck out of these steers on the second night. And they didn't disappoint on the second night at all. Some of the first night jitters were with them, especially some of the rookie cowboys that were there. They did some stuff that they definitely didn't do on the second night. And I tell you what, one of the guys that really impressed me out of the whole deal, about as much as anybody, is old Jake Clay in the steer roping. Holy moly, with his long rope, there's not hardly another guy in that field that can even handle him with the long rope. I mean, he was making some unbelievable horn shots and, and handling the slack good and tying some fast cattle.
Yeah. How long, he's best known as a team roper. How long has he been tripping steers?
I think the last couple of years he was just got serious. He was kind of on the bubble of making the finals, Jimbo, and he really broke through this year with some big wins.
All around champion at Cheyenne, wasn't he?
All around champion at Cheyenne. He's going to be doing a podcast with us pretty soon. Real excited to talk to him because such a good roper, but he really impressed me at the steer roping finals, and he seems to really enjoy the steer roping event.
Right.
I heard someone asking him the other day. I was down in Fort Worth, and he was there with Taylor Munsell, and they were asking him who he was roping with this year, and he said, he said who he's roping with, but he said he just might stick with the Bustin, and they better watch out for him this next year because if this is all he's thinking about, he's going to be very deadly.
Yeah, he was pretty impressive, and of course Riley O'Rourke just had a little trouble on some steers, but boy, the ones he didn't have trouble with, he won some money on every one of them, that would take it.
Really, I think at the end of the day, one steer kicking loose on him probably could have cost him the world. Steer was really trying to tie the whole time he got down there, and then he looked like he tried tying him tight at the end, but that steer just never quit trying the tie.
That last run he made, that 9-1, I really believe, and I'm old school, and I don't throw it around too much about the young guys, but I think that's the best run I ever saw.
Well, I
under
tell you
pressure
what,
too.
It was a pressure-packed run, Jimbo.
But he went down there a ways.
He ran that steer. Over halfway point of that arena. He took the best shot he could. I was like, oh no, what's he doing? Because he took a swing, took a swing, took another swing.
Took 5 swings. I counted them. I watched it over and over on replay, and he swung 5 times.
He swung 5 times.
Cole swung 3 times at his and tied him in 8-5, roped him a lot quicker.
Riley O'Rourke on that last one, definitely, if you haven't got a chance to watch it, it was one of the most unbelievable steer roping runs I've ever seen. For as far as he went, for as much pressure was on that run. And he stayed. He rode the stirrup and straightened his horse up. He didn't just step off like the temptation would have been trying to be quick and trying to win around, trying to win the world. Naturally, you're going to try to get down a little quicker. He stayed in the stirrup, straightened his horse up, and it made the whole run faster. And it was a great run.
He went got across the rope, strung him on. The steer was still moving just a little bit as he strung him across the leg. Like I say, I think it's the best run I ever saw.
It was a perfect steer roping run if I've ever seen one myself. Normally I don't love seeing a guy jump the rope like he did, but that was his only shot. He was cutting every corner he could, but still doing everything correctly, if that makes sense, Jimbo. It was an unbelievable run. And then right after him, the place went nuts. The place went absolutely nuts.
I thought he'd won the world.
A lot of people, it put him in the lead for the world right then.
Yeah, right then.
So it did put him in the lead for the world. And then Cole Patterson, ice water in his veins. I got to tip my hat to Cole Patterson. He pretty much had to win that last go-round to do it. He
really did. I thought he did, it turned out. But if he'd have won 4th, he'd have still won by a little bit.
And that was a tough go-round to even get a check in.
There was 2 9-1s.
2 9-1s and
a 10-3, and then I think was 4th, and then he comes out and blows them away with the 8-5.
Yeah, he did it. And
you got to tip your hat to him.
You got to tip your hat to him. It was a great world champion race, no doubt about it. And I hope it stays that exciting every year for the steer roping.
I know I'm going to be sitting up there next year watching it.
Holy moly. I sat there up. Well, I actually ended up getting to a good luck spot, I thought, but it was a good luck spot for everybody else too. Yeah. So
and Chet, we got to say something about Chet. Chet roped just as good as the guy could rope. And last year, just for whatever reason, just got up, hit and turned over, just like they're supposed to, and got up.
When he turned that steer over, he just wasn't a good steer. That steer knew what he's doing. He just kept rolling over right to his belly and stood up on his feet. There really wasn't much Chet could do.
He didn't draw the best. 2 or 3 of his steers tried to get up, and he got his hands on them, kept them down, and just stayed in the rope. And he was leading the average by a long shot. All he had to do was tie that steer down. Dang it, if he didn't get up. But he still won 2nd on 9 head.
Yeah, we were rooting for him. We were hoping he'd bring that average championship right back here home. Yep. But I tell you what, glad for Jess Tierney.
Yeah.
He's an old crafty veteran now, old Jess is.
He just went and tied him down and got him a big check.
Looked like that's what he had on his mind from the very first steer he ran on Friday night is, you know what? He's going to tie them all down and see where the chips fall.
He's going to let those kids tie them in 8 and 9. He was just going to go tie them all down and let the chips fall, like you said.
And they fell his way. I mean, that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game right there. Time on 10 head, and you do that, more than likely you're going to be the average champion at the national finals.
Been that way ever since they've had a finals in steer roping.
It's looking like that in just about every event anymore.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
But it was a great steer roping finals. If you haven't been, make your reservations now for Mulvane next year. It's a great facility. It's great for steer roping. It's you're going to see a lot of old people around that you hadn't seen in a long time. And they have the senior steer open right before that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a big steer open fan, you can get there earlier in the week and watch a bunch of great senior steer ropers. It's just like the senior professional golf. It's the best of all time. You get to see rope in that senior steer open. It's really great. You can see a lot of great horses there too. So
there's a really nice casino right there too, in case you're turned that way.
Yeah. Yep. And I tell you what, they have that good Calcutta right before it too. Yeah. And me and Jimbo, we won us a little bit of money this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were in it pretty good, but
yeah,
but we had some good ropers. So
yeah, helped pay for a Vegas trip, didn't it?
Helped pay for that Vegas trip. Holy moly! What about that Vegas trip, Jimbo?
Man, that was cool. I've been out there a jillion times and had never been to the finals. I don't know why, I just never had. and you got us tickets, and we went that first night, and it was really, I'm glad I went. It was really a pretty good show.
Yeah, they put on a heck of a spectacle out there, but you know what? Everything else surrounding it, the national finals out there, is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more people's coming and more people's coming, and
it takes that town over, that time of year. I'm just curious. Thomas Mack holds 18,000. How many more people are scattered around town at all the watch parties watching the rodeo? Twice that many, or 3 times that many? Or
well, I went to a couple of the watch parties while I was out there. I went to one at South Point. There wasn't even a place to stand, and they had 2-3 great big halls with thousands and thousands of people just filled to the brim in each one of them. And I ran by that one where you were staying over there at the Plaza, Jimbo, and there wasn't a seat to be had in that one either.
No, we got lucky and got in there kind of a little bit late, but we found a couple seats at the bar and watched it there that second night. And it was, like you said, it was packed. They had drawings in between go-arounds, and and that's going on all over town. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, every casino has a big watch party, or
and that's
most
why
of them do.
Vegas is so concerned. They know right down to the second how much money it's costing them when that finals is going on, because people are watching the final and not gambling. So that's why they're in such a hurry all the time to keep it moving, and that's probably one of the drawbacks. They haven't got breakaway in there yet, but hopefully it's coming.
Honestly, if Vegas wants to do that, I don't have a problem with them hurrying the rodeo on, get it done, get people back in the casinos to help pay for the rodeo. But I wish they'd have a venue right downtown so people could just walk in, walk out, not have an hour in, not have an hour out. That would cut 2 hours off and get people back to gambling quick.
I didn't know what I was doing. We were downtown, and I thought, well, I didn't know where the bus was or where you caught the bus out there. So I thought, we'll just take a cab out there, heck. And, of course, cab rides from downtown about anywhere is going to be $40-something time you give them a good tip. But anyway, we get out there and we get stuck in traffic, and that meter's just sitting there running, and we're not going anywhere. And we get an inch up a little closer and a little closer. I could see Thomas and Mack. That's about all. And finally, I told him, I said, just let us out. We'll walk. And we walked the rest of the way. I'll never take a cab to the rodeo again. But then you showed us when we left, we got on that bus, and that's the only way to go. It took us right to the Golden Nugget.
We had an Airbnb out there, so I was just getting on whichever line was shortest for which bus, and catching a cab or an Uber back to the Airbnb at night. I didn't stay out very late each night, Jimbo.
Right.
I was pretty disappointed in myself.
Yeah. I don't know, you're slipping a little bit.
I'm slipping a little bit. But I tell you what, that rodeo was something else. Holy moly. Every little girl in America right now wants an Adios Pantalones.
Did they not just take that rodeo over? Those two?
They just took it over.
And Tank, too, the guy in the alleyway with the fancy dress, I believe they were the stars of the rodeo.
I think they might have been. Something I did notice while I was out there watching the rodeo, the crowd's the loudest during the barrel racing. Each and every run, if it's going to be a clean run, as they're turning that third barrel, the place just starts erupting. You can just feel the energy in the air. You can feel the crowd. There's not one other event where the crowd gets into it like that.
I think it's
racing.
my new favorite event. That and the cat roping are my 2 events.
I just think, these guys would just drop the pencil here. If these guys would get that breakaway in there, holy moly, I think it'd be as popular as the barrel racing.
Surely it's coming. I don't know when, but surely it's going to come.
It's got to come, Jimbo. It's got to come.
There's too much pressure on it. They'll figure it out. But and what was all the yellow horses? I never seen so many yellow horses in the barrel racing.
I don't blame them. Heck, they were pretty.
I know.
Holy moly! Another one of my favorite moments from the NFR is tragic for the girl. Horse fell down. She fell off her horse, but then the horse turned he went and turned the second barrel, the third barrel, and then it looked like he was going to run around the first barrel and said, "Oh no, I'm supposed to go between these 2 barrels," and ran between the 2 barrels. I mean, holy moly! That's a trained horse right there, Jimbo.
Right. I know. One thing could have made it any better if he'd run back there and let her get on, stopped her. But yeah, that was crazy. People just love that kind of stuff, but that barrel racing, that Adios, so what's that horse worth now?
She said she turned
fees on him,
I heard she turned down $10 million
I
for
bet she's
him.
glad he's not a gelding.
Holy moly. I mean, the foresight to keep a horse a stud and then
Yeah.
actually haul a stud, you don't see that very often.
Boy, I don't know how they get along so good because there's so many mares in that barrel racing and stuff. You'd think that'd be tough.
Well, they didn't have a camera rolling in the back alley.
Yeah, you don't know
what was going on back there.
back there. But
I know they give that girl an awful hard time, but I feel like she's brought a lot of new fans to rodeo.
Has she ever?
Has she ever? And she's got a lot of people excited about barrel racing again just from that horse. I mean, what an amazing stud horse.
I know.
Beautiful sucker.
Oh, yeah, and the way they
mean-
did his mane was so long and the head all braided and white. Yeah.
I kept thinking that they need to trim his tail off a little bit because that's a little bit of wind drag. But
Yeah.
no, don't bother him.
No,
It
he
looks
don't- he
good.
don't know it.
Holy moly.
Yeah,
They're going to have Audios Pantalones. That's going to be the #1 selling Briar horse,
Yeah.
next year probably.
Poor old sister, she just had to take a back seat, didn't she?
She was still amazing. Everyone loved her.
Oh, they were. Yeah, still sister, but it's usually everybody comes out of there talking about sister. But this
They need
year
to
it's
breed
talking about
Audios to sister, Jimbo.
Oh man, what would that be worth?
Woo wee!
Unbelievable.
I'll write them a check for $1 million right now
I know.
if they'll take a check.
Yeah, if they take a hot check.
Well,
But yeah, that rodeo was something else, and they really do a good job. It just seems like it gets better every year.
boy, that calf roping, those guys really got it down nowadays.
What about that Riley Webb though? I mean, he's a machine. I've watched it 3 years now, Cody. I don't think he's made a mistake yet. What did you see that stat? That he's 30 calves. His last 30 calves at the NFR, he's averaged like 8.14 or something on 30 calves.
That's that next generation of kids coming up that I keep seeing. There's just
Yeah, but boy,
so many of them that can rope, Jimbo.
Yeah, they don't rope like him. I mean, he just don't make any mistakes. Of course, he's got a good horse of the year, and all that. But Shad was hanging with him, and what was his third or fourth calf come untied, and then he was pressing after that, and just Riley just kept pouring it on him, and he didn't have a chance to get back in it.
This might be an unpopular opinion. I wish they'd just take that calf roping back to one loop at the NFR, just like they have every other event.
Right. Yeah. Well, they've already went back to one string. I still haven't figured that out. Haven Majid went to string his calf and it hung on his toe, and he pulled it tight, pulled the loop tight. And you know how hard it is to hold that calf down and how long it takes to rebuild your loop, If he'd had another string, but nobody carries the extra string anymore. And I saw another guy completely lose his string, had to reach and get it instead of just right there. I don't know what their thinking is on that, but nobody carries the extra string. I think I saw one guy did, maybe. But at a 10-head roping, it just doesn't make sense not to have that spare with you.
What if you drop it
Well, I've
off
seen
your
them do
horse?
it.
I've seen them have
well,
to,
yeah, you could
I've
drop
seen
it off
them
your
have to
horse.
run back and grab their string before.
But Haven, he pulled his tight, and had to completely rebuild his loop. Just, I don't know what to say. They got some funny ideas. But
Well, Rocker, he finally got him a world championship.
going into that thing, I thought that was the one race that was out of, was decided.
Especially after the first couple of rounds
Yeah.
where he jumped out there and did good, and won a little bit of money in one of those first few rounds.
And then he got a little bit cold, and some of those other guys, Jess Pope and those guys, got to win and go arounds. Before you know it, we've got a race. And that blew me away.
They came all the way down to the last night, I
Right,
think. It
I
wasn't
know it.
by any means tied up.
I know it. And Rocker placed in the average, and it was amazing that race. Even that's just what the finals is now, though. Nothing's safe going into the finals anymore. I don't guess.
Well, you think he's going to follow in his dad and granddad's footsteps? I don't know.
I can't see it. He's enjoying it. I mean, I know it's hard on your body and stuff, but I don't know if he could get that adrenaline rush anywhere else. He likes that, I think.
I think if he does retire, we're still going to see him at the Hondo rodeos, the one in San Diego, the one in New Orleans. We're going to see him at the Kid Rock rodeo, and we're going to see him at the American.
Surely,
But if he retires from anything, I could see from Road Warrior in it possibly. But heck, he had it pretty good. Heck, I watched his show, and he was flying around on airplanes and tour buses.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's having
at least the traveling wasn't tearing him up too bad.
Yeah. And you know, the way he does this after he rides one, you know he enjoys the spotlight, you know. And so I just can't see him giving that up.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, Jimbo. I feel like it's a coin flip.
Well, it might be. But my money's on him trying to win 2 or 3 more championships.
It would be tough not to
What's
follow
the record
a family.
for championships in bareback? 5 or 6? Is it Joe Alexander or Bruce Ford's got a bunch?
Bruce Ford, Casey Fields right there with him.
Yeah, Casey Fields.
I
I
think
hadn't
maybe
thought of him.
Casey
It
Fields
might
took
be
over the
Casey.
record last time.
He might. He's young
rodeoed.
enough. He might want to go for the record. Who knows?
Well, wish he would.
Yeah,
Wish
it'd be
he
good
would.
for rodeo. He's good for rodeo. Like him or love him or hate him or kind of in between. He's good for rodeo. You can't knock that.
Well, I did see. I was out there. And my girls
Right.
love Rocker, so
Sure.
we ended up running into him a few times, and he was so nice to him and so gracious to him, and always took his time to talk to him. He didn't say any curse words to him or anything.
Right.
He didn't do anything inappropriate to him. And then they heard he was going to be signing autographs somewhere, and they had bought Rocker T-shirts and a Rocker hat and stuff, and wanted to get it autographed. And we got him there 2 hours early to stand in line, because that line, he was there until he had to leave for the rodeo.
Right.
It was like, I don't even know what to compare it to, but it was the longest lines for an autograph out there in Vegas. It was longer than Stetson Wright's line. So, and then the other guys, I felt kind of sorry for them because they didn't even have a line,
Right.
to speak of compared to, Rocker and them.
Right.
ones. So
Right.
it was really something to see. He definitely had the longest lines for an autograph.
Well, I believe it.
From young rodeo fans, and old rodeo fans alike. It was everybody across the board. It was a pretty wild deal to see just how diverse his fan base is too.
Right.
So. But anyway, we're glad for him. He pulled one out, and
yeah.
heck,
He sure looked happy too. Did you see that hugging and with his mom and dad and grandma? And yeah, I saw that on something on
if you
Facebook.
didn't like that, there's something wrong.
Yeah,
with you.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, they were all so proud of him, and they were
Right.
all so happy, and
Yeah.
it was such a great moment for
Yeah.
that family. It was just cool to watch.
Right.
A few years ago, when your granddad got inducted into the Cowboy Hall of Fame, they were also inducting Bobby Steiner and Sid Steiner.
Right.
And we got to hang around Rocker then, and
Right. Nice
took-
guy, nice kid. Very
seemed
polite.
like nice. Yeah, and every
Right.
time we've been around him, but
Yeah.
he does
the wives all got their picture taken with him.
he does wear his feelings on his sleeve out in the arena. That's
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
he does.
So,
He rubs people. A few people. The old. I understand some of that, but you can't deny he's been good for rodeo.
yeah, and he pulled one out.
Right.
Good job.
Yeah,
Good job,
sure did.
Rocker.
Sure did.
And a guy that don't live too far from here pulled a world championship out in the team roping. Old Jake Long.
Absolutely. He's been. I don't know how many finals he's made, but he's made a bunch of them. But
Slew of them. A few years ago, I think that they may even missed a steer, broke out on a steer, had some bad luck on their last steer to win the
Yeah.
world, and you just don't get those opportunities to
right.
pass by you
No.
that often. And
Especially if you're young, you finish runner up the world, and everybody's he's still going to have time to win several, and you never get that close again. I've seen it happen over and over.
he pulled one out.
Yeah. So
Won a bunch of money too.
absolutely, that last go around was crazy, wasn't it?
Heck, about every go round on when they catch them. I mean, that was
Me and you argued about. I think they ought to get in there and take a little better throw and stay in average. And you said, you're the other side. You say, well, they got to do that if they want to win anything. And I see both sides of it, but
I don't think there were very many soft rounds really in anything.
if you'd have been 5, I looked it up after me and you'd had one of our discussions, and if you'd have been 5, you'd have placed in 5 rounds, down low, 5th or 6th. You don't have to be 3 every time, but when you get that kind of steer that you can beat, what gets me, some of those steers are running, you can't beat 3, and they still take that, throw all the rope, and just take a wild, crazy throw instead of spurring up there and getting a decent throw and being 5 or 6 and staying in the average. That's what I'm getting at. The ones you can beat 3 on, you got to do it. You got to try to beat 3 on, but I don't know. I'm not a team roper anyway.
Well, I'm assuming those dollar signs start flashing in those guys' eyes.
$30,000 go around.
And
Got to.
you gamble a little harder sometimes on that. And then, there's some guys that you can tell they're after that average check. They do run in there and take a good shot.
Yeah.
Once you get a little further down in the week.
Second, only one team had 10 clean runs or 10 flags. You know, they paid on 9. On second place paid on 9.
There was some controversy in the team roping in the crossfire call. JD Yates' boy, Trey Yates. Mm-hmm. He was one of them. I didn't watch the run enough back to honestly form an opinion on the crossfire. It looked like Trey thought he might have crossfired. He didn't look like he was that surprised that he got flagged out. But from the video, just me glancing at it, it almost looked like it was a legal run.
I thought, and I don't know anything about it, but what I saw of it looked legal to me. What made it look funny, the steer had straightened up and took a jump. You know, he was following the header. I mean, he'd swapped and was like this, and the heeling horse was still like this. He hadn't got in behind the steer, and that made it look more like a crossfire. You know, but you're not supposed to be going by the heeling horse. It's what the steer's doing. You know, and but the head and the heeling horse was still going straight down the arena when he threw that, but the steer had swapped and was following the header. So to me, it wasn't a crossfire, but what do I know?
And, you know, I really don't think that any of the judges were out to make a bad call.
I don't either.
In fact, that's probably the last thing you want to do is make a very controversial call at the NFR, you know, the most.
With all that TV and
with all the
eyes on that.
Because it did stir everybody up pretty good. You know, their instant replay, I think it's great that they've added it.
But they didn't use it. They don't use it.
Well, but I did hear from somebody in the know. They told me that I think for some reason, according to the rules they have on their instant replay, they had to have the call made before the next rider goes.
Well, here you go again. That speed deal, Vegas is rushing them, you know.
Well, with instant replay, I think you should be able to make the call until after the rodeo's over. Honestly,
right.
You need to take as much time as you need.
The rodeo could go on. It's not like you're stopping the rodeo.
It's not like a football game, Jimbo, where the football game can't go on until you make this call.
Yeah,
the rodeo goes on
with the next run. But they were in too big a hurry to make the call.
Well, that isn't the judge's fault. That's the people that made the rules for the judges to follow, in my opinion. They made the best call they could at the time. The replay judges should have unlimited time until after the rodeo, until an hour after the rodeo, let's say, to make these calls.
Yeah, make it right. Get it right.
You don't have but 30 seconds to make it or 15 seconds to make it.
If you're going to use
replay,
use it and get it right. You know, that's all I'm saying.
What difference does it make if they don't have the right call made till after the rodeo? It doesn't make a difference.
Right.
You know, it really doesn't make a difference at all.
Right.
They go ahead and when someone has a re-ride in the saddle bronc ride and they don't do it till the bull ride, and they go ahead and interview the person that's winning
just
the
like
round like he won it, and then they got to go back and interview that person. Yep. So the worst thing is you may not get an interview out of someone. Who cares?
Well, the perfect example was saddle bronc. The next event was a saddle bronc riding, you know, and why? The only thing I've got.
That was a big call to
why
miss.
was the judge so out of position? He was over here in the middle of the arena when he should have been over there closer to see that side of the horse. He didn't see it. He missed the spur out, and then by the time he got in, you've seen him getting over trying to get in position, but by the time he got in position, he'd already spurred him out, and he missed, and he kind of in between the next jump, and his foot was kind of in between. He wasn't on the point of the shoulder.
Well,
and that's what fooled him.
And there's the 4 judges there too. So why wasn't 2 of the judges in the right spot? Two of the judges in the right spot.
But then go to replay, and it was so obvious that should have been an easy. I mean, Stevie Wonder should have been able to overturn it.
Yeah, and that was a big call. That was possibly one of the biggest missed calls in rodeo history.
Yeah. And it cost him a. What did it cost him? A Triple Crown?
Cost him a Triple Crown, and those do not come around very often. You know, he barely made the saddle bronc riding finals, so it wasn't like he even had the Triple Crown really on his brain until about that night. He was really going to have a real big shot to win the average in the bronc riding. Horrible deal for Stetson, and I'm sure we haven't heard the last of this yet on this call, on some of the calls and some of the money they cost the Cowboys, especially since they had the instant replay. I'm going to have to say we haven't heard the last of all this yet.
Well, I hope they get enough blowback that they will change it next year and they can make do the replay anytime, you know, throughout the round. You know, they can take their time. That's what I'm trying to say. They don't have to feel rushed to
make the decision.
To make the call.
Yeah, they don't need to run it like a football or a baseball game or anything.
Because the game can go on while you're
exactly
making your call. So
unless it's a rewrite or a rerun.
Right, yeah, that's true. But so hopefully something good will come out of it. And to Stetson's, to brag on him a little bit, he took it pretty good, for considering what it cost him. He could have threw a complete fit.
Well, that's the way most Cowboys should take some news like that,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I mean, it really sucks at a level like that,
Right.
but most Cowboys I know, they'll tell you, you win some, you lose some.
I don't know how Rocker would have took it.
They're gonna get you on a couple calls.
Right.
That's definitely not going to go your way, and they're liable to give you a couple calls in your career too,
Right.
that you didn't deserve. So,
Right. Yeah, I understand that.
but it's really unfortunate it happened on Rodeo's biggest stage, and it's unfortunate that they did have instant replay technology. But I can see there's certain situations they got to get that call made if it is a rerun or a rewrite.
But not very often. Usually you've got that whole round to, or several runs to get it right.
Yeah. So.
And that was so obvious. I just don't understand how you. But whatever.
Yeah, that was a real blow. But on the side note, another one of his family members won a world championship too.
Yeah.
Because of it. So. It's just it's one of those deals. People's not going to forget about this one overnight. This isn't old news. This is still
so hopefully some good will come from it.
Right in the forefront of everyone's mind. Hopefully something. And he did handle it like a champion too. That was really admirable to see.
Right.
For everybody, and hopefully taught some youngsters.
Right, how to conduct yourselves.
Correct. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it could have been easy to really lose your cool on that deal.
Oh, yeah.
And possibly ruin the rest of your finals just because you were mad at something that happened to you, and your attitude might have cost you money in the long run.
And that's something that puts rodeo a little above some of the other sports that you watch on TV. You see people acting silly. You see fights on the field. You see all sorts. You just don't see that in rodeo, and that's good.
That's good. It's just a good,
Yeah.
clean family sport.
Right. And I hope it stays that way.
I think it will. I don't see why it wouldn't.
It's in good hands. I mean, for sure.
It's in good hands. What else happened at the finals? Oh, we went and watched Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, Jimbo.
Was that not crazy?
Wow.
I still think those seats were moving. You said they were. How could they get, that feeling like if you're going over a roller coaster and you get that feeling in your gut, when you're coming down. You got that feeling sitting in those seats. Now, how could you get that feeling without them moving?
I don't know. It was the wildest thing I've ever.
Did your stomach? Could you not feel it?
Yeah. I wish they'd have a watch party for the NFR there in that Sphere. That'd be good watching, Jimbo.
But that was crazy. I enjoyed that.
Cody and Jimbo's watch party at the Sphere. How about it?
I had to pull my ball cap down because I thought that tornado was going to blow my head off.
It was wild. Leaves, apples are flying everywhere.
Through snow.
Monkeys started flying through the air.
Crazy. Yeah, I had monkeys flying through there. I recommend it. If you get a chance to go to Vegas, go to the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's just as good as it was 75 years ago when it was made.
Well,
holy moly.
It's crazy.
I'd go in there and watch anything. Just about.
Yeah, I bet anything's crazy, wild in there.
Yeah, any concert they have. We went in there one time, took the girls in there right after it opened, and we watched a National Geographic movie in there, something called Earth or something like that, and it was awesome.
Right.
It was awesome
I bet it was.
It was.
But how about that in the Bulldog, and getting back to the rodeo just a minute, that stuntman, 185-pound stuntman from California.
Well, that just goes to show you don't have to be the biggest guy around to be the Bulldogging World Championship. Right. I mean, it's technique.
Right. Take more technique than muscle. And boy, he was an athlete, wasn't he?
He never bobbled once either.
Never made a mistake.
And a lot of people that knew him were telling us, watch this kid. Mm-hmm. He's liable to be the world champion this year. And
yeah.
I'll be danged if he didn't.
He jumped out early lead for the championship there in the winter rodeos, and then he kind of tailed off, and I think he might have went into the final fourth or fifth. I'm not sure. But, boy, he just didn't make a bobble at the finals.
Yeah, it was good to watch him, and boy, howdy, he stuck it to them boys.
Yeah.
He didn't give him any slack. Came out the world champion. He seems like a good kid, too. Seems like he's going to be a great world champion for the bulldogging sport.
Great ambassador for the Bulldoggers.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Hopefully he gets some bigger movie roles now. World champion bulldogger.
Yeah, he'd love to. Absolutely. But I enjoyed watching him because it was technique, like you said, over muscle.
It was all day long. You know, I heard he comes from a long line of guys out there. The Joneses, John W. Jones and them guys, I don't think were the biggest guys in the world. And, you know, they had great technique.
Right.
Butch Myers, he was another guy that taught a great technique on how to bulldog great, you know. So if you're a big guy with technique, they better watch out.
Yeah, you better watch out. But
well, I tell you what, they better watch out for this Tucker Allen for probably years to come.
Homer Pettigrew wasn't a big guy. And, you know, they dogged bigger steers back then. And he wasn't a big guy. And he was all technique, you know, and was like 6-time world champion. So
he's won the most, hadn't he?
Yeah. I think he won 6.
Well, I tell you what, watching that Tyler Wackus Pack guy in person, you know, he's pretty darn impressive himself.
Oh, he is. Yeah. He absolutely shapes cattle up and does it right.
So there's a lot of technique in this. So
oh yeah, it is.
Anybody coming up, don't be sloppy with it.
Yeah.
Really work on that technique.
Even if you're big, try to get the technique down, and you'll be double tough.
Triple tough.
Triple tough. But it is a good rodeo. I enjoyed it. I'll probably go back.
The girl that won the barrel racing, she came from was an unexpected champion in the average. She wasn't supposed to win the average.
She didn't even bring her good horse that she rode last year. You know, she won the championship last year on a different horse. And I don't think she brought a gray horse, and I forget what her number 2 horse was out there. But I don't think she brought that one horse. I don't know if it was on account of that virus, you know, that she didn't want to bring him or what.
Boy, howdy, speaking of that, I sure am glad that I haven't heard anything.
Haven't heard a word.
Much about the horse virus since the finals. So we all had our fingers crossed that everyone would get through it good. You know, all the team ropens and calf ropens going on out there, plus the NFR itself. I mean, there were thousands of head of horses out there, and I haven't heard of any big outbreaks. So knock on wood, everyone made it through Vegas. Hopefully we don't hear another word about it.
Well, they must have done a good job of nipping that in the bud, you know, and the veterinarians and all the protocols they went through and all the cancellations they had to unfortunately make and stuff. But I guess the way it looks now, it all paid off.
Speaking of cancellations, we actually left a couple days early to go to the finals because we had tickets to the breakaway finals that were supposed to be out in Vegas. And, you know, they did have to cancel that event because of the virus. So,
you know, you went down there and that place was packed. They really really took it in and made a big deal out of it down there for those girls.
Oh yeah, we ended up going to Fort Worth where they rescheduled that.
Had a lot bigger crowd there than they would have had in Vegas, I think.
For sure, I think. Well, you know, the Vegas arena where they have it, sits a lot more people, but there was a line of people that couldn't get tickets out there in Fort Worth. So, you know, there wasn't a seat to be had. Holy moly! I tell you what. It was a real national finals they had down there in Fort Worth. Sold out crowd, 15 of the best breakaway ropers in the world.
Until they get out, let them in out to Thomas Mack, that might be the place for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else if they wasn't going to let them rope at the Thomas and Mack, because
hopefully they'll be at the Thomas and Mack sometime in our lifetime. But
I don't know why they're not. I would have honestly. I would have lost a bet with some people by now, you know, if they would have took a bet, you know, I would have thought that the breakaway would be in there by now.
Well, I would have too.
You know, we're steer ropers. We come from steer roping families, you know, and we want the best for steer roping, but we got eyes. We can plainly see this is good for the sport of rodeo, and it needs to be in Vegas. It'll probably be one of the crowd favorite events once it gets in there.
I think it will be just like the barrel racing.
No doubt about it. You know, it's just a race. And these girls are doing it so fast, it makes it so exciting, Jimbo. And these girls can rope. I mean,
sure.
You know, I did notice there were people I knew down there at Fort Worth. They were there with their families. They flew in, you know, to Fort Worth from wherever they lived to come bring their little girl to watch it. There were little girls, thousands of little girls down there watching the breakaway finals. And
Right.
I tell you what, that's a pretty good thing to see, Jimbo, because you know that there's going to be a lot of contestants coming out of that.
Well, when I was little, all the little boys wanted to be Casey Tibbs or Jim Shoulders or something, but now you got all these little girls wanting to be these big barrel, these barrel racers and breakaway ropers, So it's just bringing in all these people into the fold as far as fans go. It looks to me like.
Yeah, and you know what? They couldn't have had a better world champion come out of it than Taylor Munsell. Holy moly, she's such a great world champion. I was at a breakaway roping 2 days ago, Jimbo, and she happened to be there. And, and she took the time out of her day. She was roping there too, but she visited with every little girl there that, wanted to come up and talk to her and gave them advice. And, she was just a great champion, great to the kids.
Right.
It was really good to see.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And she had a lot on her mind. Hell, she had 2 horses there she was roping on in the same jackpot, but
right.
But it didn't bother her one bit.
And talk about her a little bit. She had a real, I didn't get to watch her, but what I read, she had a real rough first night. But she cowboyed
Yeah, I don't
up
think she caught one. Maybe one the first
the
night.
next night. What did she do the next night to go ahead and win the world?
She said that she had 3 calls. One from Joe Beaver, one from Guy Allen, and one from her dad. And every one of them told her the same thing. So she went with them, the 3 most respected guys in her life as far as roping. And they said bigger loop, bigger money.
Yeah.
So she's whatever they told her, she took to heart. She changed that next night, and she dominated the next night.
Yeah.
Had to win the last round, came out, won the last round.
Wow.
It came down to the very last calf. It was exciting. Downtown Fort Worth was beautiful for Christmas. It was a great place to take your family. Until they take it in Vegas, there's not a better spot in the country for it than right there in Fort Worth.
That's the way I feel about it.
It was such a great finals
like
they had for the girls.
It looked like it.
Pam Minnick, they threw a party over there for them, a back number ceremony, and they treated them really well. They treated it like it was a real national finals for them down there, and they got a rope in front of a sold out crowd.
Right.
That had to feel good.
Yeah.
That had to feel good.
That's got to pump them up and get their adrenaline going. And
they all drove all night from the big $1 million roping out in Arizona.
Well, that was another deal. That was even bigger than the final as far as payday, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't even know how many girls won $100,000 plus at that roping. I think I said 5.
Where were they getting all that sponsor money? Who bellied up for all that? Because there wasn't hardly any TV money there.
Well, I got to tell you what. There's a lot of dads. There's a lot of grandpas. There's a lot of uncles that have a breakaway roper in the family. And I tell you what, they're having some good ropings. Plus, there's a lot of eyes on that. I saw a lot of stuff about that $1 million breakaway roping on Facebook. And
well, that watch party I went to.
Heck, it was on. They actually aired it on CBS Sports.
Okay, that's what it was on TV. But that watch party I went to at the Plaza, they were promoting that Tim Fuller, the announcer, was there, and he was fixing to go to, as soon as the finals was over, he was going to Scottsdale, and that Danielle Lohman was there promoting, and she got up and spoke a little bit, and stuff. They were making a big deal out of it then.
Boy, howdy. This breakaway roping is probably going to end up being one of the toughest sports in all of rodeo, because these girls are getting fast, and they're getting it figured out quick, and there's thousands of them coming on,
and their daddy's buying them some high-dollar horses, too.
Well, you know what? There's always been a lot of horses, that would be great horses if he could, stop a little harder, work a little better on the end of the rope. Well, those horses are going to be, some of the greatest breakaway horses, ever.
I don't see how they keep them from setting up so bad, because they're just roping them so quick, and it looks like it'd get awful tight.
Well, I think that is their biggest issue. I talked to a lot of calf roping trainers and a lot of breakaway dads, and they tell me their main job in life is to keep horses freed up and to not rope on those horses to keep them running in the right spot.
Right.
So, yeah, they do get to setting up pretty darn bad.
Yeah.
But they got to. They got to get out there and work their horses and keep them freed up, just like any other event. You got to get out there and work at it.
Yeah. But when you got 10 calves there, just bang, 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 you don't get to go home practice, in between calves. Maybe they do some places, maybe have some place they can go and free their horse up a little bit between rounds. I don't know, and it's about as bad in Vegas than the calf horses, After that, about that 10th calf, them horses are so tight, all those quick throws out there.
What about that buckskin horse they were riding out there? What
Yeah.
was his name? Peso?
Yeah. I think he's from Canada, I believe.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah, them two Harris boys riding him, they've won a lot of money on him the last 2 or 3 years out there.
He didn't look like he set up too bad on him. He looked
No,
like
he was giving them a throw.
Give him a throw.
Yeah, he was.
Boy, howdy, that one, Joel Harris, he really meshes with that horse well.
Yeah. He won at least 2 rounds out there, I think. And,
He was exciting to watch on that horse.
Yeah,
Ty
yeah.
Harris,
Yeah.
he had a rough finals.
Yeah, he did.
He had a rough finals.
I think he did finally do some good on the last one or second to the last one, kind of.
Yeah, he got a few checks out of the
Yeah,
deal,
but not what he was wanting going in. But,
no.
But that Riley Webb, he's made a believer out of me. That sucker he's just a machine. Closest thing to a machine I ever seen as far as just not making any mistakes.
Well, Jimbo.
And the bull riding.
Oh yeah, that was an exciting.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about old Wasey.
Yeah, and you can say what you want to about Stetson, but he's a tough sucker. Now, he got stepped on, I don't know if it was the 8th or 9th round. It looked like stepped right on him, right on his leg, and limped out, carried him out, and then dadgum, he don't come back the next night. And them suckers are tough. They got to be sore. Of course, he's riding broncs, too. They got to be sore at about the 8th or 9th go-around.
That Wasey Shallow, only his second full year in the PRCA, he's already won over $1 million.
Yeah, he didn't have a good bull. He did better in the bareback riding than he did. He just kind of got in his head in the bull riding. He just couldn't ride one.
He started off strong, was riding them all, and then
he got in a
stuff
funk.
happened.
He got in a funk, and then he wasn't going to ride nothing.
We were really rooting for him.
Yeah. Oh, I know it. He's going to win a lot. He's going to be a thorn in Stetson's side for the next several years. I think.
He's going to be tough to beat, that's for sure. Wonder if he rides saddle broncs. I bet he does.
I don't know, but he needs to keep making the finals in bareback riding for that all around, and stuff. And I think he will. He rode really good out there in the bareback riding.
He was a force to be reckoned with. He won a pile of money in the bareback riding.
He did. Absolutely.
He kept the heat on Stetson just because he was bareback riding so well.
Right, for sure.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, he makes Stetson better.
It was all good.
It was
all good.
I'm ready for the winter rodeos.
Yeah, I'm ready for them. They're already starting back up right now.
I'm ready for Riley to make that run at the World. Hope he gets off to a good start.
O'Rourke?
Riley O'Rourke in the Steer Open. It's going to be exciting.
He's going to give him a run for the money.
I bet he'll
no
be
doubt
trying.
about it.
He'll be trying.
Well, everyone, get up here and see us.
Yeah, don't forget the Prairie Circuit.
January 30th and 31st. Then we'll keep you posted on the Extreme Bronc. I believe it's in March, maybe April.
Yep.
And, and it was available March 2026. You're going to be able to buy Ben Johnson, Tall in the Saddle, new book about Ben Johnson by a friend of ours, Catherine Jones. We did a podcast with her a while back.
Oh, yeah.
So be sure and get with us when it gets closer to March. We'll get you a copy of this book. Jimbo, you got anything else for him?
No, I don't guess. Just another good year in the books and looking forward to 2026.
2026. They're going to be a Cowboy winning over $1 million this year.
Oh, man.
Boy, Stetson got close.
You'd think. It sure liable to be.
If he wouldn't have got that bad call.
Yeah.
He probably would have been up there over $900,000.
If he stays healthy, he's sure going to make a run at it.
It's going to be something to see.
Right.
A millionaire cowboy in one year.
Right.
It's coming quick, Jimbo.
I know.
We're probably going to see it in our lifetime.
Oh, I hope so.
Next year or the year after. This year or next year.
Yeah. I bet it'd be this year.
I don't see how they can stop him.
No. And Vegas is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. They're going to keep winning more in Vegas. So that'll put them over the hump.
That's going to put them over the hump. Looks like the old spotlight's looking pretty bright on Rodeo right now.
Yep. Never been stronger. With the Cowboy Channel's got a lot to do with that.
Oh, yeah.
The breakaway roping, like you say, bringing all these young girls, making fans out of all these little girls, you know, and stuff. It's. I don't know that rodeo has ever been more popular than it is right now.
Rocker, Adios.
Adios, Pantaloni.
Stetson.
What does Pantaloni stand for?
Pants.
Okay.
See you, pants. I guess that's what that means.
I guess.
See you, pants.
Yeah.
Holy moly. What an awesome horse. Yeah. Well, congratulations to all the 2025 world champions, and it's going to be fun to watch them race for the 2026 world championship this year.
We're going to be watching. We'll keep you up on it.
We're going to try to stay up a little bit more on it this year.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I guess we'll see you later.
Later.